The Speed Triple of the previous generation model was a phenomenal bike. It was beautifully nimble and made a phenomenal soundtrack. And now there is a new Speed Triple which is available only in the RS trim. Whether this is as beautiful, as nimble and as heart-pleasing as the older model is what we are trying to find out. When we heard that Triumph was making a brand new Speed Triple, we were kind of unsure as to how will Triumph better the one that already existed, because the last generation model was phenomenal. It had the right balance of everything. The engine was great at 150 horsepower. It was all the power that you really needed. And the balance of the chassis was just purity of joy. And that is exactly what you want from a motorcycle of this sort, which is a hyper-performance, street-naked motorcycle. But this one has really upped the ante. First, let's start with the looks, because when you are buying a motorcycle of this sort, of this capacity and of this segment, you really want to stand out in a crowd. Well, it does not really have the visual drama of, say, the Ducati Street Fighter, but it definitely has a great charm of its own. The front end is really strong, very, very eye-catching, and the DRLs, they just add that ferocity to the overall looks. And then you have a very beautifully curved and very muscular sort of a fuel tank, which also has great recesses for your knees. And then the rear, it kind of tapers very nicely, and the bolt-on aluminium subframe just adds to the whole drama. Let's first get the numbers out of the way. So the engine, because this is the heart of the matter. This one is a 1160cc inline 3 with dual overhead camshafts, and it produces about 180 horsepower and 125 Newton meter. But crucially, both these figures come fairly high up in the rev range. So the horsepower is maxed out at about 10,500, and the torque comes in at about 9,000 RPM. Now, the torque is very interesting because it is spread very evenly across the rev range. So it kind of mirrors the last generation model, but at the same time, it just makes a little bit more, and there is a lot more flexibility to the engine because of that spread being slightly across a wider range of engine revs. And then the horsepower, it is just relentless, this engine. Not that it's going to underperform when you're at slow speeds, it is not the case, but the mid-range and the top end is absolutely ferocious. At about 4,000, 5,000 RPM, and then when you open the tabs, it just kind of erupts like a volcano. And then as you go north of 8,000, it just is such a heart-pleasing experience, and it makes all sorts of great noises. So in terms of the flexibility of the engine, it's a slightly better motor than before, and the character is still very, very intact. Now, the whole chassis as such, and predominantly the suspension. The front is Öhlins 43mm upside down forks, and the rear is Öhlins the TTX range, and both the front and the rear, they have the wheel travel of about 120 millimeters. The rear is adjustable for preload, compression and rebound, and I'm not really going to say that it's the most comfortable setup, but in the stock setting that we have, it's actually not all that bad. I expected the whole platform to be slightly more rigid because it is technically a more advanced system and derived from the MotoGP program. So I expected that it's going to be a lot more uncomfortable, but that is not the case. It's still slightly stiffer than before because the previous generation motorcycle rode like a peach. It was beautiful, it flowed very nicely, and even when you were leaning in and the compressions were happening, it was very, very progressive. This one is slightly more sharper. So I think overall on the track, this is going to be a pure weapon. But on the road, this is not as sophisticated, as refined a riding experience in terms of ride quality alone as the previous generation model. Now let's talk about the seating geometry. You sit pretty decently. The seats are very comfortable. Even if you're riding in very regular riding jeans, it's not really going to be a problem at all. But if you're actually in leathers or riding trousers, this is going to be a godsend. So the seats are very, very nice, good compression and very nicely padded. And the geometry with the arms stretched out on the levers or the handlebars, that's also very good. You sit slightly tighter than before, so the approach or the way you rest on the bars is a lot tighter than before. The bars themselves are pretty nice and wide, but it's just the way you tuck in the riding position that's kind of altered, and that's actually for the better. And now the main thing, how does the Speed Triple RS ride or is as a riding experience? And because you get only the RS version now, it is the full attack model that you get. When you're riding on regular road surfaces or even in regular traffic, it's actually not too bad. The steering could have been slightly more communicative because at low speeds, it is a little bothersome, but it's not such a deal breaker at all. And as you gain speed, it is a lot more intuitive. It tells you a lot more about the road, and the connection that you feel with the front end is absolutely spot on. Now, when we read the specs, 180 bhp, which is a 30 bhp bump over the previous generation model, we thought it's just going to be mental. But it's not the case. And there are a few issues, I'll come to that later. But when you're riding and when you open the tabs, it does not feel like the chassis has been overwhelmed by all the power delivery. So it's a great balance between how the engine delivers its power through the gearbox and how the chassis really wraps around it. It's never the case that even if you're leaning in and if you kind of, are progressing with the throttle, the bike kind of steps out or something. It's not the case. And because of all the electronic aids that you now have and different rider modes, it is always contained well within the limits. So it is very enjoyable, and it also lets you be the hooligan that you want to be whenever the mood takes over. Now, a couple of things which are not the most ideal when you're riding and about the whole bike. The first one is the throttle. Now, the throttle connection to the engine and the way it responds through the gearbox and onto the tires is slightly odd. The moment you twist it, it kind of jerks, and that can be a little hairy when you're on the road, or especially when on the track, leaning in and you want to open the tabs, it just kind of jerks, and that can be a very, very stupid thing because you will feel a little bit of, even tramlining, but not to the extent that you're going to fall off because of all the electronic aids. So that is not the most fluid. And the second one is the heat management of the motorcycle. Despite of being a naked, you would expect that the air is escaping out into the ambient air, but that's not the case. You really feel the heat coming onto you and even through the frame. So that is not the most pleasant things about the motorcycle. The Speed Triple RS has slipper clutch, and that might sound very exciting, but the way the gear shift quality is, it's not the most ideal. It definitely makes you feel that you are working the gearbox quite heavily, and it goes into the cogs fairly nicely, very progressive. But just a shift action, that could have been a little smoother. But you don't really need to use the clutch at all, whether you're going up or down, and you just have to stomp on the lever, and that's going to sort you out. But the shift quality itself could have been a little smoother. And then there is, as expected, a whole lot of electronics given to the motorcycle. You have a 6-axis IMU, you have very progressive cornering ABS system, and in fact, speaking of brakes, these are phenomenal. The stopping power that you have from the stylemas up front, and also 220mm disc with a beautiful caliper setting. It is just a very tight package. It can be a little unnerving for the very, very new riders because the bike itself is very front heavy. So the braking also is going to give you a sense that you are actually leaning on. But a couple of times and you're going to be sorted, especially if you modulate the brake lever for the rear brake. So in terms of the stopping power and also the progression through the lever, it is beautiful. You also get a lot of features. You get Bluetooth connectivity, so you can pair your phone. And Triumph has worked with Google to give you a turn-by-turn navigation system. And they've also worked with GoPro to provide you with an active connection for your GoPro cameras if you have mounted them. But the one big thing which can be a deal breaker is the price. And retailing at 18 lakh rupees ex-showroom, you can get a lot of other motorcycles which are hyper focused on performance, super sport category to adventure category, everything. And this one just falls a bit short when it comes to appealing to you in terms of outright pricing. To conclude what this motorcycle is all about, it is a massive step up from the previous generation model, and we were absolutely astounded when we rode this because the previous generation bike had set the benchmarks in terms of refinement, rideability, excitement, all of these factors. And this one just pushes the envelope that much more. Yes, in terms of suspension, it could have been slightly softer, especially at the springs, but overall, it is not a bad deal at all. In fact, it is more rewarding when you encounter the right set of roads and some really fast flowing corners. And the competition is definitely going to have a lot of hard time matching up to this one.